Back on track. It's time for the men's A final of the 400 metres. There's Mohamed Abdallah Kunta. Kunta will be going on the outside lane. He's a 45.12 man. There's Carl Bengtström of Sweden. He'll be going in lane 5, 45.38, his best outdoors. Indoors, he's run slightly quicker. National record a few years ago in Belgrade, the World Indoors, 45.33. Lane 4 will be Younes Chatoui of Morocco. Away they go. I expect Bengtström and Kunta to really scrap for the lead here. It looks like Bengtström has gone out harder over the opening 100 metres. He certainly leads at this point. Chatoui coming up well there. He looks like he might slot into second, depending on how much effort Kunta puts in down this home straight. But no doubt about the leader as they pass halfway here and a tick outside 21 seconds, 21.7 or so it looked like. Bengtström leads ahead of Chatoui, who is in second and is starting to hunt him down. Kunta has plenty work to do back in third. Now, Bengtström went out very hard over that opening lap. Was it too hard? We're about to find out because Younes Chatoui of Morocco is out into lane 2 and ready to challenge. Bengtström digs in, tries to hang on. It looks like the Swede is going to get there. He does. Carl Bengtström hangs on, 46.10 on the clock unofficially. We always talk about getting to the lead in the 400 metres, just how important it is. And Carl Bengtström, the 26-year-old Swede there, he made sure of it over that opening lap. He was not going to let anyone else take control of this race. 46.09, it is official now, a meeting record. It was Mohamed Abdallah Kunta came through for second. 46.26, a personal best indoors for him. Takes 200ths off his PB, and then it was Younes Chatoui of Morocco back in third. Chatoui 46.30, season's best for him, and Simon Deschamps rounding out the field 48.18. So 46.09, a meeting record. That is the mark that the men in the B final, which is coming up a little bit later on, will be targeting. But nonetheless, a very good run for him. Chatoui takes third, Kunta second, and the Swede is up top, Carl Bengtström. Nicholas Kibenai of Kenya, the 30-year-old. He's run 143 outdoors. That was just last summer in Nairobi. 148 is his best indoors, but that's due for revision. There is Mohamed Ali Gouaned of Algeria. 145.8 recently to take victory in Lyon. There is Corentin Leclesio of France. 144.2 last year outdoors. From the inside, lane 1, Pierre Lechat. Lane 2, Corentin Magnou. Lane 3, Corentin Leclesio. Lane 4, Mohamed Ali Gouaned. Lane 5, Nicolas Kiplangat Kebenai. And lane 6, Roman Severin. So away they go here in this A final of the men's 800 metres. Now we'll see. Obviously new rules, as I mentioned a while ago. They now run in their lanes through the first 2 bends, which I think is a really welcome change. And there's no harm at all, because there's enough elbows and problems when it comes to the men's 800 metres. There's enough collisions out there that anything you can do to lessen that and just give them the full lap to get themselves sorted out is certainly a help. So Roman Severin takes this field along at a decent pace. It is Severin who now steps aside and he leaves Nicolas Kiplangat Kebenai out front. It was a very quick pacing job by Severin. And let's see what they've got to 400 metres. But now Ali Gouaned takes command up front, 52, 53 on the clock. So it's quite a sedate pace for an athlete of his ability. He will have wanted it a bit quicker than that. And that's why you saw him push on early there. Ali Gouaned of Algeria. He leads at the moment ahead of Nicolas Kiplangat Kebenai. And these two pulling clear. Corentin Leclesio there back in third. Corentin Magnou is in there as well. But with 1 lap to run, Mohamed Ali Gouaned starts to extend now. 1:19 on the clock. Looks like he's picking it up. He has picked it up and he'll be picking it up again, probably coming home. But Mohamed Ali Gouaned has turned the screw on this field and left them all for dead with 100 metres to run. He runs around that last bend. He is pumping those arms as Gouaned. And he is on his way to a decisive victory. Remember, he's also racing the athletes in the final to come. How quick can he go? Mohamed Ali Gwaned sprints to the finish, 1:45.10. It is a big negative split. He finishes off with a 25-second final 200 metres there, and he is delighted with that. All 800-metre runners watching will know that you don't tend to run your best overall time when you negative split it, down to reasons of physiology in terms of the event, in terms of expending that energy. But Mohamed Ali Gwaned there ran a big negative split, went through in 53 only. He may have even come home under 52 there. I think he was just outside 53 at 400 metres. But Mohamed Ali Gwaned, we saw him just shifting through the gears, and to run 1:45.10 as a lifetime best indoors and a meeting record, well, he's certainly put the bar very high for the men who will follow in the B final. Mohamed Ali Gwaned then of Algeria takes victory in the men's 800 metre A final, 1:45.10 ahead of Corentin Leclesio, 1:46.9 in second, and Nicolas Kebanai takes third, personal best for him. This is Alex Ngeno. He's run 1:43.74 outdoors, 1:46.2 his best. That was indoors last year in Lyon. Abdelati El Guess, he'll be a formidable contender here. He ran the Moroccan indoor record last year in Lyon, 1:45.2. Here is Alvaro de Arriba, man who's fared very well at many championships, fourth in the world indoors in 2022, European indoor champion in 2019. There is El Guess, who set that Moroccan record indoors last year, 1:45.2 in Lyon. He was a World University Games silver medalist. Also, many years ago now, 2015 or so. But he has been running well already, El Guess. Finished second in Lyon this year, a couple of weeks ago, 1:46.62. And we'll see how quick he can go here. Pacemaker Alejandro Matienzo on the outside. Just ripped through that first 100 metres, and Ngeno actually is really made an aggressive start there. It looks like he wants to slot into second behind the pacemaker, and here comes Abdelati El Guess. He looks like he has now seized pole position in second as they pass 200 metres in 25.06. Abdelati El Guess has the lead, but here comes Alex Ngeno with 100 metres to run. Ngeno now has him in his sights. It is Abdelati El Guess. Ngeno, though, out into lane 2. He attacks again into the home straight, and I don't think El Guess is going to be able to hold him. It's Alex Ngeno takes victory in 1:46.57. He leads it home over Abdelati El Guess, and it's not quite quick enough to dislodge Mohamed Ali Gwaned. So Ali Gwaned will be the overall winner of the men's 800 metres. But a fine victory nonetheless there for Alex Ngeno, who isn't too far away outside his lifetime best indoors of 1:46.2, just a third of a second or so, as we see a replay of that final lap. And Alex Ngeno and Kipingetic just stalking there, just about as close as you could possibly be there to El Guess. And it only is the last 20 metres or so where he finally asserts just about had enough to take victory over El Guess. Less than just over a tenth of a second between them at the finish. There are the two men who ran quicker than Niclesio, Alex Ngeno Kipingetic and Abdelati El Guess, but neither of them going quicker than Mohamed Ali Gwaned, who takes overall victory in that men's 800 metres with a brilliant meeting record of 1:45.10. But speaking of aggressive racers, lane 4 in this women's 800 metres, Audrey Vero of Switzerland is renowned as an athlete who likes to push the pace. She doesn't have the very fastest finishing kick in the women's 800 metre ranks, but what she has is an ability to sustain a high pace and sustain it brilliantly. Here is Audrey Vero. She will have to be very much on form to defeat Patricia Silva. Silva starting 2026 with a good run in Lyon there just recently, 2:01. There is Clara Lieberman of France. She's run 1:58 outdoors, 2:01 her best indoors. No doubt Clara Lieberman as well will have that 2-minute barrier in her sights. 2:01.00, her best ever indoors, but she has obviously run 1:58 last year outdoors. So look out for Lieberman as well. And then Patricia Silva, no doubt, an 8-time national champion in Portugal. She'll be a tough nut to crack here as well, having an impressive 2:01. So Silva is in lane 5 there in the green and white stripes of her club. But Vero there, she is such an impressive athlete physically, and you can see there the way she just covers ground with those long legs, that loping stride. It's not ideal for a tight indoor track, but she just makes it look so easy, Vero. 400 metres in 56.90. It is a very quick pace, and Audrey Vero is turning the screw on this field. Everyone is struggling to go with the 21-year-old Swiss star, who has really been growing and going from strength to strength in recent years. They're chasing their shadow at the moment in behind. Nicola Bisova, Eloise Coira is in there, and then there's Clara Lieberman as well in behind, and along with Patricia Silva. Lieberman are doing their best, but 1:27 on the clock here for Audrey Vero. This looks like it's going to be a Swiss indoor record if she can hold this together over the final 150. She is running against the wave lights. She is at least 10, 12 metres clear of the rest of the field there at the moment. Lieberman and Silva doing their best to give chase, but this is all about Audrey Vero. She was training in South Africa recently. She was training in Portugal, and now on the indoor track she is setting it alight. The Swiss star powering up to the line. It looks like it's going to be a national indoor record. It is 1:57.50 unofficially. And the 21-year-old Swiss star starts 2026 with a bang. She was well clear of the others there, Audrey Vero. So impressive. European under-20 champion back in 2021 and 2023. World under-20 silver medalist behind Roisin Willis, who set the American indoor record there just recently. So they're maturing into established seniors now, a few years on from that race in Cali over in Colombia. But Audrey Vero continuing to go from strength to strength. She is such an impressive performer. Kind of goes for the low volume, high intensity approach in training. Talked to her at a couple of events over the years as she was coming up through the ranks. And it is brilliant to see what she has become these days. She finished 2025 with a flourish, 6th in the world final in Tokyo, but this was her first race since then. And that was all of, 5 months ago now almost, since the World Championships. But Audrey Vero has started 2026 with a flourish. A world lead for the young Swiss star Audrey Vero, 1:57.49. Clara Lieberman of France it was in second. A PB for her, edges closer to that 2-minute barrier indoors, 2:00.42. And Eloisa Coiro of Italy back in third, 2:00.53. Now it's just for the introductions for the upcoming race, which will be the women's 60-metre hurdles final. Sara Kesketalo will be going in lane 6. She's a 7.96 athlete. Here is Laetitia Bapta of France, 7.76 athlete at her best. She'll be going in lane 5, 12.69 outdoor hurdler. And then the favourite, the woman who shines so often in the spotlight, Alicia Johnson of the US. Away they go, and Johnson got a flying start. Tebugbo was going very well there in lane 2, but now Johnson coming through, and also Bapta. And look at Kesketalo. It is Kesketalo, I think, who might have stolen that late in 7.96. It was a brilliant run, flashing down the outside there in lane 6. It was so close. It's very hard to separate them. There was not much to choose between Johnson, Bapta and Kesketalo, but I think Kesketalo got it. 7.95. She did get it. That is a lifetime best by the Finnish athlete. And Bapta and Johnson just didn't quite produce their best there. It is a lifetime best for Kesketalo, Sara Kesketalo, the 25-year-old, 7.96 her best. That was just last weekend in Lodz. She's a 12.81 athlete, of course, outdoors. She does a bit of long jumping too. She jumped 6.18 the long jump. Hurdles and the long jump do have a fair bit of crossover, but Kesketalo, who was a semi-finalist outdoors last year in Tokyo, and a World University Games champion last year in Germany. No doubt about the winner. Sara Keskitalo takes victory in the women's 60-metre hurdles. And there was very little between them. 1,000th of a second it's come up at in the results system. Just take a look back at what happened a little bit earlier on in the women's shot put. This was a good few hours ago, so weren't able to show it live. But there were a number of very, very talented performers. And that was Emily Kangas of Finland. She was a third place finisher. 17:89 her best. Fanny Rus was the second place finisher. 18:29, that was it there, her throw. The leading effort. But no surprise to see who came home in front. It was Jessica Schilder of the Netherlands. And her best effort, she didn't need it to be this big to win. But in the sixth and final round with victory secured, Jessica Schilder with this throw of 1978. Well, she put the icing on the cake with that one. A fine effort by Jessica Schilder takes victory at Meeting de Lure. And there is confirmation of that women's shot put, which took place several hours ago now. Jessica Schilder of the Netherlands, 1978. Fanny Rus of Sweden takes second with 18:29, and Emily Kangas of Finland third, 17:89. We'll go through some of their credentials now as they start to be introduced. The lights are dimmed inside the arena at the Stade Jesse Owens. This woman will have a lot of support. Agatha Guillemot of France. And it was Julia Nielsen of Sweden, who's a 4:31 miler, but a 4:07 1500 metre runner. And Gina Lovnes there of Norway, the 22-year-old, set the Norwegian under 23 mile record at 4:33.89. And here we go. It's going to be crowded here over the first 100 metres, but hopefully they'll get strung out well here. And it will be Jacqueline Rotich of Kenya planning to loop the field here. And Guillemot just gets to the front in that black strip and then waits there, the French woman. But now it's all alone at the front for Guillemot. Pacemaker has left. Jacqueline Rotich was unable to get to 600 metres, so they passed through 600 there in about 1:38 it was as they went through that start line. So that was just below 33 seconds again there. And you know well that 33 seconds for 8 laps is about 4:24 plus a couple of seconds, so you're talking around about the 4:25 pace they're on at the moment. And of course Guillemot, the French indoor record, 4:25.99 that she is targeting. And meanwhile Sabatini is up to second there. And it is still early days, they pass halfway there, and that is another sub 33 second lap. So they're still moving at a very good pace here. And Guillemot has gapped the field by quite a bit at the moment. Will she be able to hang on to that? Indoor Italian mile record is 4:21.51 by Sintayehu Visa. That's going to be a tough one for Sabatini to get, but it looks like Guillemot is well on track to get the French indoor record as she passes through with 3 laps to run. Agatha Guillemot is well on track here. She is pulled well clear at the moment. Sabatini it is back in second. They are probably 20 to 25 metres behind though at the moment. And can she hold this together over the final 400 metres? Agatha Guillemot, who broke the outdoor French mile record last year with 4:19.08. She looks well on track to break her own indoor French mile record here. 2 laps to run and about 3:18 on the clock, and she's been doing that's down to a 32.6 there. She's actually picking it up, is Guillemot. This is so impressive from the French woman. She's had to do so much of this on her own. She's been alone for pretty much the last kilometre. Not much help from the pacemakers today, but Guillemot doesn't look like she needs it. Remember, 4:25.99 is the time she ran for a mile in Val de Roy last year. That's what she's chasing here. And she is well on track. Agatha Guillemot, the European indoor champion last year, a world finalist at the Olympics in Paris, and she is holding it together brilliantly here. It's a solo effort. It is her very much against the clock. I think it's Taryn Rawlings perhaps there back in second. We'll get a better look at that soon, but this is all about Agathe Guillemot with 100 metres to run and 4:05 on the clock. She's going to do this, I think. She's going to get to the line. She just has to hold it together here. It'll be a long 109 metres from the end of that back strip, but she's going to get there. Agathe Guillemot, she's got about 5 seconds to get to the line. She's going to do it. It's a French indoor record for Agathe Guillemot. 4:23.26 unofficially. It was a solo effort, but it was a splendid effort by the French star. And she smiles through the pain as she has done it yet again. Taps the watch. And indeed, it's all about those few inches between the ears, just as much as it is about the strength in your legs. And Guillemot had both today. She takes victory. Meeting record, 4:23.27 it is confirmed for Lovenest. She takes second in 4:32.66. Julia Nielsen it was then back in third, 4:32. Now, while we have a moment, we can go back and reflect on the women's triple jump. The top 3 jumps, at least. And this was the third best of them on the day. Carolina Joyot. $13.82 her best. German jumped that in the 4th round. Second place on the day was Sally Sir. 14:22 this jump was, and that came in the very final round. She'd previously jumped 14:21. She was comfortably ahead of third place, but good stretch behind first place. So she was just jumping to surpass her best in that last round, really, and indeed she did on the day. And here was the winner, Leyanis Perez Hernandez, the world indoor, world outdoor champion, a star of the women's triple jump, and you can see on that runway why she just floats across the ground. This jump came in the 2nd round. All 4 of her valid jumps would have been good enough to win, but this one was 14:65, a world lead for Leyanis Perez. Takes victory in her first competition of 2026, and she is very much picking up where she left off last year. Leyanis Perez Hernandez, 14:65, world lead, takes victory. So with that, there is just one event remaining, and there's the men's 60-metre hurdles. It is one loaded with quality. Lane 3 with that pink headband, it's Eric Edwards from the US. There is the winner of that semi-final, Kendry Menendez of Cuba, 7:56 his best. Wilhelm Bellossian then of France, 7:42 his best. Away they go, it's very even. Menendez is off to a good start, and Edwards going brilliantly in 3, but it's going to be a blanket finish here as suspected. Who's going to get it? I think it was Kendry Menendez. Again, the Cuban, I think, might have just got that. It was so close. 7:59 it was in the heat, and he thinks he's got it again, and he has. 7:57 for Kendry Menendez, a rising star of Cuban athletics, who set their national under-20 record last year outdoors at 13:28, and he's taken victory over a very experienced, well-regarded, world-class field in Val de Roy to take victory in the final event of the evening. Menendez it is by 0.02 of a second. The 19-year-old with a very, very, very bright future. 7:57 on the clock. It was Eric Edwards in second, 7:59. And then it was Wilhelm Bellossian in third, 7:61.
Hi, I'm Manu Duplantis. Subscribe to the European Athletics YouTube channel down below.